This year, 1975, was a huge turning point in his life. He became born again, and he set the course for the rest of his life. In that decision, he began serving as a Calvary Chapel, West Covina, teaching Bible studies. In 1982, he met his wife, Linda Romer, and they were married later in December of 1983. They remained married for 83 years. In 1984, I don't think that's correct, 83 years, probably 38 years, I'm sorry. In 1984, he further prepared for life in ministry by attending Life Bible College in Echo Park. He graduated in 1988 with a major in Bible and an emphasis on cross-cultural evangelism. Shortly after graduation, he served under Pastor Raul Rice and was his staff for 34 years. He took many trips to Colombia and Chile. In South America, he spent his time, his faith, to young pastors who were planting churches. In 1999, he received his long dream of becoming a father and adopted two sons, Jacob and Luke. Jesse is survived by his wife, Linda Barella, sons Jacob and Luke Barella, brothers Jose and Robert, and sister Alma. Mary Lou and mothers Librada Barella, and a host of extended family members and friends who will miss Jesse dearly. And finally, members, I move that we adjourn today in the memory of Rodrigo Rod Garcia. Rodrigo Rod Garcia, as he was known, was born on March 29, 1943. Rod graduated from California State University, Los Angeles with a bachelor's degree in science and engineering. Rod served as a civil engineer for the city of Los Angeles and worked in public works, building and safety at the Port of Los Angeles. Rod was one of the few Hispanic engineers amidst a tech boom in California back in 1973, and despite being in the minority in science, engineering, and math STEM field, he gathered a cohort of few Hispanic engineers determined to contribute and diversify the STEM industry. In 1974, Rod founded and incorporated the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, known as SHIP, with the mission ensuring networking, educational opportunities for Hispanic students and professionals in the Southern California region. Not too long after, with the collaboration of administrators, professors, and students at Cal State University and East Los Angeles College and the University of Southern California, the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers established its first collegiate chapters, resulting in 5 decades of Rod's high-spirited and fearless leadership propelled the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers to reach 13,000 memberships, 286 chapters nationwide. His unique ability to unite community partners and leaders around the country will serve as evidence that closing the STEM education gap and increasing the number of Hispanics in STEM can and will be done. Rod will be remembered by his colleagues and thousands of current and former SHIP students and professionals for his devotion, service, and immense contributions to expanding awareness, access, support, and development opportunities to Hispanics in engineering, science, math, and technology to realize their fullest potential and positively impact the world. I had the distinct pleasure of meeting Rod back in 1981 when I was serving in the Carter administration, and we held a lot of similar events with SHIP out in Washington, D.C., and at different chapters. I'm grateful to call him a friend, and I ask that we send our blessings and condolences to his family and friends. Thank you, and may he rest in peace. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. I move that when we adjourn today, we adjourn in the memory of 2 long-term 2nd District constituents, Helen Ruth Hastings and Linda Bernice Marshall Kane. Linda Bernice Marshall Kane was born March of 1954 in Los Angeles and passed this past May 29th at the age of 68. She was a proud resident of the 2nd District for over 60 years. Mrs. McCain graduated from Dorsey High School and earned an associate degree in liberal arts from LA Trade Tech College. While in college, she met Bobby Kane. The couple married in 1984 and later became the proud parents of 2 sons. Mrs. Kane began her career as a commissioned salesperson of major appliances and maintained an exceptional reputation. She retired from Sears in 2019. She will be remembered for her devotion to her family as a proud wife, daughter, mother, and dear friend. She was a positive role model to all those around her. She was dedicated to keeping her familial bond strong during the pandemic and did so by purchasing new cell phones and learning how to use Zoom. Her positive spirit will be felt for many generations to come. Mrs. Kane leaves behind to cherish her memory her loving husband of 38 years, Bobby, her mother, Edith, siblings Kim, Hazik, and Saeed, 2 sons, Daoud and Donald, 2 stepchildren, Demetrius and Stella, and a host of extended family and friends who will all miss her dearly. Helen Ruth Hastings was born on May 9, 1930, in Perkiston, Mississippi, and passed away this past June 9th here in Los Angeles at the age of 92. She was a proud resident of the 2nd District for over 67 years. After the death of her mother, Mrs. Hastings was adopted by Mary B. Millender, who raised her and 3 siblings, Maddie, Maxie, and Willie. She attended elementary school in Perkiston and graduated from Perkiston High School in 1948. She continued her education at Edwards Junior College, where she majored in liberal arts and played basketball. She relocated to Los Angeles in the mid-50s, where she met and married her husband, Murray Hastings. The couple raised 6 children together. Mrs. Hastings was a true woman of God and accepted Christ at a very young age. She joined Full of Faith Christian Center in 1984 and remained a devoted member until her health prevented her from attending. She will be remembered as a faithful, loving member of her community. She is survived by her 6 children, Carlene, Craig, Debbie, Maurice, Stephanie, and Tony, 14 grandchildren, 17 great-grandchildren, and a host of extended family and friends who pledged to continue her legacy. Supervisor Kuehl.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I ask that when we adjourn today, we adjourn in memory of a really fine actor, James Caan, who died on July 6th. A really, really talented actor, probably best known for his Oscar-nominated turn as Sonny Corleone in 1972's The Godfather. Also had a number of Golden Globe nominations because of his role in The Godfather. But he started his career in the early 60s and went on for many years, had a number of memorable roles, including 1975's Funny Lady, where he played Billy Rose to Barbra Streisand's Fanny Brice and was nominated again for a Golden Globe. Misery, starring alongside Kathy Bates, director Wes Anderson's breakout 1996 film Bottle Rocket, and my particular favorite, the elf's father in Elf. He also won an Emmy for playing Brian Piccolo in the wonderful special Brian Song. He's survived by his children, his sons Scott, Alexander, James, and Jacob, and his daughter Tara. And you know, it was interesting when people heard that he had passed away, they started leaving flowers on his star, you know, in Hollywood. And you just know it's not like, oh, I was just walking by and I had flowers. I mean, there was a huge wreath even. And he deserved it. Really fine actor and a nice guy. And I ask that when we adjourn today, we adjourn in memory of Leo Frumkin, who throughout his long life was a powerful and very effective force for peace and social justice. During the Korean War, he became a merchant seaman, but then he was drafted right off his ship into the U.S. Army. Just as promptly, he was thrown out of the Army because of his socialist political beliefs and his outspoken opposition to the war. However, the Army later reversed itself and issued him an honorable discharge. At the height of the McCarthy period, he became chairperson of the Wendell Phillips Academic Freedom Committee, which led a successful public campaign to reinstate the Fullerton Junior College instructor who'd been fired for refusing to name names. Leo was a founding member of the Fair Play for Cuba Committee and helped organize and defend the massive mobilizations against the war in Vietnam. He's survived by his wife, Sherry, and his children, Sally, Mark, Elisa, and Cindy. And I ask that when we adjourn today, we adjourn in memory of wonderful man, Dave Roberts, who died on June 30th. He was a resource conservation manager as part of the Las Virgenes Municipal Water District team for over 6 years. His position was resource conservation manager. He was a strong, engaging, collaborative leader with a deep wealth of knowledge, and incredibly passionate, an expert in sustainable landscaping, conservation, land use, climate change, ecosystem integrity, anything to do with native and climate appropriate plants. And he possessed many more skills that made him invaluable. Prior to joining Las Virgenes, Dave enjoyed a robust and highly impactful career as an environmental strategist throughout the state of California. He dedicated over 13 years to preserving the beautiful natural resources of the Lake Tahoe region through his roles with various agencies, including Assistant Executive Director of the League to Save Lake Tahoe, environmental scientist for the Lahontan Regional Water Quality Control Board, and district manager for the Tahoe Resource Conservation District. He's survived by his mother, Hilda. And lastly, I ask that when we adjourn today, we adjourn in memory of Greg Walsh, an architect with a long and fruitful career. He first met Frank Gehry when they were both second-year students at USC. Their friendship became an enduring, long, and collaborative relationship. They opened a practice together in LA in 1962, and together created several iconic projects, including the Danziger Studio in Los Angeles, the Schnabel House in Brentwood, and the Vitra Design Museum in Ville am Rhein, Germany. He passed on his valuable knowledge as a longtime faculty member at the Southern California Institute of Architecture from 1991 to 2010. Those are my adjournments. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. We'll take all the motions as seconded, and if there's no objection to a unanimous vote, such will be the order. Executive Officer, will you please read us into closed session?
In accordance with Brown Act requirements, notice is hereby given that the Board of Supervisors will convene in closed session to discuss item CS1, conference with labor negotiator Fezia Davenport and designated staff. Item CS2, conference with legal counsel regarding existing litigation. This item was continued in open session 1 week to July 19, 2022. Item CS3, department head performance evaluation, and item CS4, conference with real property negotiators, as indicated on the posted and supplemental agendas. Thank you.
The board is currently in closed session and will return to open session once closed session has ended.
I'll now take roll to confirm attendance. Please unmute your mic. Supervisor Solis. Present. Supervisor Kuehl. Supervisor Hahn. Here. Supervisor Barger. Here. Executive Officer, please read the report of action.
The following is a report of action taken in closed session on July 12, 2022. Item CS1, no reportable action was taken. Item CS2 was continued in open session to July 19, 2022. Item CS3 and CS4, no reportable action was taken.
Thank you. That concludes today's meeting. The next meeting of the board will be a special closed session meeting on Tuesday, July 19th. The next regular meeting of the board will be held on Tuesday, July 26, 2022. Good evening.